All right, first of all, this is extremely local. You're going to hear some names.
All right.
I'm naming names, but nobody did anything wrong.
Okay.
All right, this is out of Brewster.
Gotcha.
And I want to make clear 55 times, I'm not talking bad about these people. I'm talking bad about me.
Okay. Talking bad about you, not about Brewster.
I'm talking bad about me, not Brewster or the people that I will mention.
Okay.
How many times have I said on this show that I have to start saying no?
You said it many times, and you continue not to do it.
And how many times do I walk into embarrassing buzzsaws of situations?
Often.
Over and over and over again.
Often.
So it was an honor to be asked to speak at the Brewster Rotary Club meeting.
No.
As I might have mentioned a couple weeks ago briefly.
Yes.
An honor. I was asked by Paul Facito.
Sure. And who's Paul Facito?
Brewster people know him. He owned an insurance company.
Okay.
Yeah, everybody in Brewster knows Paul.
Got you.
There are some other people there that names you're going to recognize. Comedian Tom Briscoe, always on our show.
Yeah.
Tom's there, Brewster graduate. My buddy Joe, we graduated together. He's a principal in Westchester. He's sitting to my left.
Mm-hmm.
We've known each other since we were 6.
Are you up at the head table?
There's one table.
Okay.
You know, Mike Durani's there. You know, Dave Bruin. These are all Brewster names everybody knows. I'm not saying anything bad about any of these people.
I got you.
This is one of these situations where I don't... First of all, I should have asked questions. What is required of me? I did not ask questions.
Yeah, you should have asked questions.
I was the guest speaker, which I found out, like a half hour before going to this thing.
Okay.
At Aversano's. Now I'm sweating before I walk in. When I get the text message, he wants me to speak for 10 to 15 minutes.
Oh, boy.
Being a modern broadcaster.
Uh-huh.
Here we go. Away we go. So now I walk in.
Yeah.
And Paul introduces me to a guy. And the guy says, his name, and then he says, my son, blah, blah, blah. And I'm not listening to, you understand? I'm not listening to him.
That's par for the course.
Because I'm in my own head already.
Sure.
Thinking about what the hell am I going to say for 15 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know his son very well. Very well. He's close to my sisters. He's been at my house 1,000 times. I consider him a close friend. His son.
Okay.
But I do one of those, oh, yeah. And he catches on right away. And he's like, no, you're not hearing me. My son's so-and-so. And oh, yeah. Now I'm like, all right, take a deep breath. I got who we're talking about. I go, I'm sorry. I'm like.
What about his son?
He's telling me who his son is.
Oh, okay.
I've never met the father.
Yeah.
But I know the son.
Okay.
But he could tell that I did one of those like blow off, like, yeah.
Right.
How's he doing?
You do it all the time to me, but I don't even mention it anymore.
So I'm already off to an SE start here. Right?
Yeah.
And then they bring out the food and I start like nervous eating. I'm not eating to make myself happy.
Did you shovel it in like you usually do?
No, I didn't shovel it. Because I was afraid I'd have to poop if I did that.
Okay.
I got all these fears going on. And I drank 87 cups of coffee and a gallon of water. So I got to pee every 5 seconds already. So I'm peeing. I'm not listening to people. I'm sitting there nervously. Now, Joe is sitting to my left. He's telling me funny stories about our friends.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not listening. He could tell. I know he could tell. I'm not bringing it up. I'm messing with the bread. They're doing their whole meeting thing. And then it comes my turn. Now, I don't know what they want from me. Because they haven't asked. It's not their fault. Yeah. I haven't asked.
Right.
What do you want to know about my business? Is it my personal story? Do you want to know how to crack into the business, even though you're all in your 50s and 60s? Mm-hmm. I don't know what they want.
So you're thinking this now. You're not saying
I'm thinking it, and it's my turn. And now it's time to go up and talk.
Mm-hmm.
Right? For 15 minutes.
15 minutes. Ooh.
So I start, and I'm like, yeah, it's an honor to be here. I mentioned a few people in the room. I guess that's a thing that people do.
Sure.
And then I start with part of my story of breaking into the business. And then I immediately jump into, how digital media is segmented and what our goals are. And then I jump back into my story somehow. Then I lie.
You lie.
Lying.
What were you lying about?
Now, because I'm lost. Because I've already flip-flopped between things.
Yeah.
So here's what I do. I tell a true story, but there's a detail that I missed. Remember when I moved to Florida? Florida,
yes.
you say.
Right.
Right? So I start telling that story about how I left the business and moved to Florida. Florida, you say. For 5.5 months. I get a small little laugh on that one.
Yeah.
And I say it's regrettable. And then I talk about how when I came back, I worked at WPDH. And there's an element to that story where I called, I think it was the operations manager at the time. And I said, look, I'm just looking to get back any kind of work. You know, I came back. I made a mistake. I left radio. I'm back. I want to work. Right? And the guy thought it was pretty ballsy of me to call him. And he spoke to his program director. And I got, a part-time shift up there. Right? What I said was that I called the owner of the company. And then I stopped myself in the middle of the story. And I go, no. His son at the time, mind you, was the phrasing I used.
So he was only his son for a little bit. It wasn't his son.
This is the phrasing I went with.
Yeah.
So I lie, and then I call him his son at the time.
Yeah.
Because I'm just scrambling for any word at this point.
Of course.
And I'm just trying to fill 15 minutes. And I don't care if it's lies. Whatever it is. So I'm just grasping at straws. Now I'm saying,
Oh, boy.
Hoping to get
not a good sign.
any kind of a response.
Sure.
At one point, I shouted out, I don't know what Paul wants from me up here. So now I'm saying, then I'm referring to Tom Briscoe,
right?
A familiar, friendly face in the crowd, hoping I get something out of him. Nothing. So yeah, it was the most embarrassing. And I think I only ended up filling 8 minutes worth of lies and
God.
I had like this hideous sex joke plan to, loosen the room up.
Sure.
But when I got there, Paul's telling me this, important person's going to be there and this important, and I can't wait for you to meet them and the superintendent of schools. And I'm going, oh, that joke's out. And then I had another joke and I'm like, what am I telling jokes for? Did they ask me to tell jokes? Second guessing myself all over the place. And lie. Brutal. I just don't know. It's not for me.
Well, I've spoken once at a, the hell was it? Future, I don't know what it was, but it was at the Crown Plaza Hotel. I was asked to speak. Future entrepreneurs or achievement. What's the club, the achievement thing?
Whatever.
Yeah. So here's what I did. I wrote some notes as to what I was going to talk about.
I didn't do that.
I wrote.
Did you ask questions?
No. I wrote some longhand stuff. So I would have some bases. I mean, we're talking 5 to 10 minutes.
I've done none of
kind of my history in radio, that kind of thing, how I got into it. Did you do that? Did you?
No.
Why didn't you do that?
I did no preparation. But here's the other thing.
And then you could have, what you could have done?
Yeah.
You could have done how you go about formulating the morning show, because you do most of the planning here.
That would have been a great idea. I wish you were with me.
What?
I wish you were with me.
Wouldn't that have been common sense?
But I don't know, because I don't know what they want. Do they want to know how you formulate a radio show?
You could have asked them what they wanted.
Exactly, which I didn't do. Here's the thing. Like, let's use like a charity organization that we work with as an example. Say Hillside asked me to say a few words at a dinner.
Yeah, please don't.
That would be that'd be easy.
Yeah.
It's a charity we believe in.
Right.
We work with them. This is what we do. This is when we do it. 1 minute and get me out of there.
Yeah,
and I could pull that off. Sometimes introducing a band over at the Playhouse if I'm interested in who the band is, or something like that. That's cool. I know my alleys. This is not my alley. Showing up to helpful organizations and not knowing what I'm supposed to say, because I'm going to get up there and I'm going to say 21 times
and then lie.
Yeah. And one guy actually looked at me like his son at the time. Like I could see it in his face. Time slowed down. It came to a standstill.
His son at the time.
People could feel my nervousness, and they all became nervous.
Right.
And everything slowed down. And then I looked at this one guy. He wasn't nervous for me. He wasn't feeling bad for me. His eyebrows just went up like his son at the time, huh? Is that what we're going with? Liar face. So, thank you to the Brewster Rotary Club for having me as a speaker. And it was an honor to be there. And thank you, Paul, and all the fine folks that were there. But have you learned a lesson from that? Yeah, I'm telling you all as seriously as I can. The answer is no. If it's not to host a radio show or guest spot on the radio show, or a podcast, but even that's no unless I'm hosting it, or it's to do a small thing on a TV show. Those are the only things I'm doing going forward. That's it. The answer is no, absolutely 1,000 times, because I can't do it. I showed up in failure mode because I don't know what I'm doing there. I didn't want to do it, but I thought it was nice that they asked me, and it's my hometown.
But you didn't say no.
I felt an obligation to go and embarrass myself.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like 12 people. It's not that big of a deal. 7 of them I know. What's the problem here?
I have some words of advice here. When we talk to the mayor tomorrow, I wouldn't tell him this story.
No, because that's a perfect example.
Right.
The thing that he asked me to do.
Yes.
So did he really expect me to do stand-up comedy? You remember my act at that time?
Yeah.
It's all World War II stuff. And if you're familiar with this war, some bad things happened.
Yes.
And I'm making jokes about these things.
Mm-hmm.
And what, he wants me to show up and tell these jokes in front of people he's trying to get to vote for him and donate money on top of it?
Yeah.
That's his problem.
Yeah.
All right? So he could keep bringing that up all he wants. That's a Mark problem. That's not a Lou problem.
See, I think what you need to do, but you're not going to be doing it anymore, is to find out if in fact, no, you'll say yes again. You need to find out what is expected of you so you know, so then you can prepare.
I don't want to prepare either.
Okay, well, then it better be no.
You know what I would have done is go. And then I thought everybody was speaking.
Yeah.
You know, I'm looking at Joe now, mad at him after I sat down, like, you're not speaking? You're a respected member of society. I'm the idiot. And then I go up there and look like an idiot, start lying and saying,
So let me get this straight. You were the keynote speaker.
That's it.
Yeah. No keynote.
I think it's the reason people gathered there.
Yeah. Oh, boy.
In hindsight.
Yeah.
And now I wasted everybody's time.
Yeah. It's 6:36. We haven't done any news or
again. Okay. If you're just joining the show, I didn't say anything bad about any of these people.
No.
Because it's like a bad game of telephone.
Yeah.
I'm going to get a phone call later from Paul, who hangs up in the middle of phone calls for some reason.
Hangs up.
Well, he's being very nice, but apparently he just hangs up in the middle. You're in the middle of a thought, and you're having an exchange.
Right.
And then he goes, I got to go. Bye. Paul, where'd you go?
We have to really have to.
Yeah. Wow.
Because we're almost into missed headlines.
Yeah.
And we haven't done all the other stuff.
Did you like the story?
Yes, I did.
Embarrassing. Fun, right?
Very embarrassing, and I feel bad for you.
I don't feel bad for me.
But you could have prevented it.
Yeah, whatever.